Hello, everyone. This is the Green Talons coming at you guys with a new specific video at this particular moment. As you guys are quietly aware, um, I'm bringing you all a video pertaining to the 2020 NFL Draft. This is the week for it. The NFL draft is actually 2 days away, which is on a Thursday, I think around 5 or 6 in the afternoon Central Time, which is our time, and some of you guys' time probably be 4 or 5 or 6, depending on your location, wherever you are at the particular moment of the draft when it begins. On ABC, it's gonna be on ABC, it's gonna be on NFL Network, and it's also gonna be on ESPN. So it's gonna be shown on 3 different broadcasts because due to the COVID-19 virus, the Eagles, the NFL is going to draft is going to be going virtual, which means that there will not be no live broadcast. It's going to be mostly a virtual reality, which means that teams are going to be able to pick their players online. So there will be no interaction with Roger Goodell himself or Roger or any of the announcers, any of the people that's gonna be pretty much in the draft as well as fans itself. So it's gonna be quite different, and this is also supposed to be a fundraiser that's going to be dedicated to the COVID-19 virus. So the more money that they'll be getting in, the more money they'll be able to use to fight this virus that's going on. And the reason why the Eagles, I don't know why I'm started saying the Eagles, the reason why the NFL is going to go virtual reality, because just this past couple of days ago, the WNBA draft was on, and they normally don't show the WNBA draft, but they just had to show it yesterday because of the fact is the COVID-19 virus, and they did a virtual reality. So the way they did theirs is more like the way the NFL is going to do theirs this season. So I'm hoping that this will be the last time that the NFL does a virtual reality draft format, because this COVID-19 virus is getting to everybody, it's making everybody sick, people dying, you know what I'm saying? And there's quite a few, it's over 100-some thousand cases all over the country, you know what I'm saying? And with me being here in Tennessee alone, we got about 200 or 300 cases, and about 35 or 40 people have died already from this COVID-19 virus here in Tennessee. So in your location, if you're in Philadelphia, Detroit, Chicago, New York, New Orleans, Texas, any of the southern states, any of the northern states, northeast, southwest, wherever you are going to watch the NFL draft, the COVID-19 has affected a lot of things, not only in the country alone, but the world itself, because this virus is all over the world. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that in the good grace of God, that all of this come and goes. You know what I'm saying? Because it's killing a lot of people. It's changing the way we live, the way we got to clean ourselves, wash our surroundings, wash your hands, keep your hands off your face, social distancing. All this is playing a part in the reason why the NFL draft decided to go virtual reality. So if you got the NFL, if you have the NFL app, NFL draft, whether the draft app, I'm quite sure that's out now, or the NFL app itself, you can watch the broadcast there, because it's supposed to be going live stream as well. So if you got some live stream channels like Netflix, Amazon, all these apps that's on your phone or your tablet or on TV, depending on which television you have. If you got the app, go ahead and use the best of your discretion, because the NFL draft is going to be shown there. And it already have changed the way we watch movies now, because you used to go to movie theaters, but now with this COVID-19 virus going on, they're broadcasting some of these movies on some of these channels, but I'm quite sure some of them you have to pay for. I think the older ones, you have to pay for the old ones, and just the new ones that's coming out, you have to pay for. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, the COVID-19 virus has affected a lot of things worldwide. It ain't just affecting our country, it's affecting the world itself. Now, the only country that doesn't have the virus is probably Canada and Antarctica, the colder states, or maybe the warmer states below the earth itself. I don't think the virus is those two locations because it's too cold. It's cold in one location and real extremely hot in the other. So it's just that the virus is affecting this world and a lot of things are changing because of it. But anyway, enough of the COVID-19 virus and the way the NFL is going to do their broadcast of the NFL draft. I told you before, it's going to be virtual reality, so that's where that direction that they're going for this year. And the NBA draft and probably gonna be the same way. But this is not about the NBA draft, it's more like the NFL draft. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to what I want to talk to you guys about. I made a video on this magazine maybe 3 or 4 videos back because I got this came in the mail in March of last month, and as you can see, it has Barrow on it, and also has Tula. Two of the top 2 quarterbacks in this year's draft is actually 4. You know what I'm saying? There's the David Love boy from Utah State, and you got Justin Herbert from Oregon, and these two quarterbacks. So that's that top 4. Them your top 4 quarterbacks that gonna be taken between 1 and 15 of this year's draft. But one of them might slip out of the draft. But anyway, let me go ahead and put it to the side right quick and get to my book here where I got all my knowledge in it right quick. As you can, I also put it on Facebook also, D-Rocks, or you can say the Green Talons 2020 NFL Draft Analysis. You know what? D-Rock, aka the Green Talons, in 2020 NFL Draft Analysis. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the wide receivers because this is a position of need that the Eagles need between top 5 to top 15 where they can draft one of these receivers. But I want to name the top 10 because these will be between 1 to the 3rd round. And the Eagles do have 3 third-round picks, so we'll see how that work out. The first one is Jerry Jeudy. This is a guy that a lot of teams are saying that we're going to get, or some other teams are going to get. This guy is 6'1", 193 pounds from Alabama. He predicted to go number 1 overall, or the first wide receiver taken in the draft. But then you got other receivers that's also that about as good as he is, and that's Henry Ruggs the third, 5'11", 188 pounds. He's also from Alabama. So Alabama got 2 receivers that going to be taken in the top 15 of this in NFL draft that's coming up in the next couple of days. And these guys are very good skill positions. But out of all the receivers that I like, that I hope the Eagles try their best to get, and it's a rumor saying that the Eagles like this particular guy. I'm talking about CeeDee Lamb, who is 6'1", 198 pounds, from University of Oklahoma, the Sooners. I can't really say much about this guy because the fact is, I like him. I liked him when I first saw him a couple of years ago when he had Baker Mayfield as his coach, as his quarterback, and well as Tula. Man, I'm not talking. What is it? Tula? Yeah, Tula. Yeah. No, it ain't Tula. Sorry, the other guy, Tagovailoa. Tagovailoa is his name. That's the guy's name, Tagovailoa. I might be wrong, but I know whoever the quarterback from Oklahoma is going to be taken. Well, yeah, that's right, Tula. It is Tula. Yeah, I said it right, Tula. Tula is the quarterback that's now, or was, the current quarterback for the Oklahoma Sooners. And CeeDee Lamb had both of those quarterbacks to throw from, Mayfield and Tula. You know what I'm saying? And those 2 guys, he had, well, out of all these quarterbacks, or out of all these receivers, if you will, CeeDee Lamb had two quarterbacks. One was taken in the first round in a couple of years ago, and Tula is going to be taking the first round this year. So CeeDee Lamb had 3 or 4 years of 2 or 3 different quarterbacks. One had won the first round and one and going to go in the first round. You know what I'm saying? So he's from what they're saying, he's ready to start right away. He's positioned to start right away, and that's why the Eagles like this guy, because of the fact is he's ready to roll. Compared to the other receivers that I'm going to name you guys, some of them are either going to be projects or they're going to take time to groom for them to become a number 1, 2, or slot receiver going forward in the upcoming NFL games to come. The fourth one is Jalen Reagor, who is 5'11", 206 pounds. He's from TCU. Now, he predicted to go between the late first or the early second round of the NFL draft. It's not much about this guy I don't know. Other than I know that he's a quick receiver out of the backfield. This guy can do anything because of his size. He's 5'11". You know what I'm saying? And we all know that receivers, you got to be 5'11" or taller to be considered a top receiver at your class or at the speed or your height, as far as concerned. And so Jalen Reagor, 5'11", 206 pounds. He's a pretty good receiver from what I've seen on the highlights on the NFL. I mean, on the NFL Network and other NFL channels that had this guy running and rolling. He's pretty good. And then we got KJ Hamler, who is 5'9", 178 pounds from Penn State. He's also predicted to go in the first or the second round. You know what I'm saying? Because of his lateral speed. And now this guy is being compared to Deshaun Jackson of old. We all know when Jackson came out of the University of California, the Golden Bears, he started right away, and he was ready to start because he had 4 years of college. Deshaun Jackson wasn't no junior; he was a senior when the Eagles took him with the second round pick of that draft year, which was 2008. You know what I'm saying? He came out 08 or 09, one of those years. And he was taken that year, 09, because 2010, it was the other receiver from Missouri. Jay Macklin. Jay Macklin was taken in 2010, first round 2010. So, yeah, I'm correct. So, Hamler, at his size, 5'9", this guy can play all over the field. He's more of a slot receiver than an outside threat, but he can be used on the outside, you know what I'm saying, to take more advantage of the speed. But when you're playing in the slot, that means you won't see many double teams. You see more like one-on-ones. But if you do see double teams, because you have two slot cornerbacks that are going to guard you coming off the slot left or the slot right, depending on where you line up at. But if you line it out wide, now you're probably gonna see a bigger and more faster cornerback coming at you when you're 5'9" and you're under 200 and you're under 180 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So, but 178 not bad, because this is another guy that the Eagles are also favoring in the second round. So the Eagles might go 2 wide receivers in the second round. They might get one in the first, and they might go with the second round pick that they have. That's if Hamlin is still on the board by the time he gets to them. You know what I'm saying? So the Eagles could pick 2 wide receivers and get some defensive backs in the third, going all the way down to that 7th round pick. But like I said, they got three third round picks, 2 fourth, a 5th, a 6th, and a 7th, I think. So the Eagles got a total of 12 picks, 10 or 12 picks, one of them. But all I know is they're going to use their picks gradually, because we all know from the 1st into the 4th are more likely your starters. But the 5th, 6th, and 7th round are more like project players that can be starters, but they need more grooming. Then I'm looking at the guy that they are also raving about too. He played with Arizona State. It's about Brandon Ayuk. Now he's 6 feet, 205 pounds. And he predicted to go also in the first or the second round. So the Eagles are between the Eagles are, not the Eagles, but the NFL is gonna, if 7 receivers go in the first round, that would be a record, because the record is 5. 7 would be an all-time record if 7 receivers go in the first round. Like I said before, Jalen Reagor, KJ Hamler, and Brandon Ayuk are predicted to go between mid first or early second. You know what I'm saying? So, but if it happened to be 7 wideouts go in the first round, that would be a record. Like I said before, the record is 5. 7 would be a new mark set because this is a receiver heavy draft, and there's not many of the other players or position players between wide receiver and linebacker or safety for that matter. And so let me go further on down, and then we got Laviska Shenault, who is also 6'1", 227 pounds from Colorado State. Now, he predicted to be nothing more than a second round pick, but 6'1" is a pretty nice size player at 227 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So that makes him more of a wide body receiver, which means that he's nothing more than a clutch receiver. So that he's more like a Alshon Jeffries. We all know Alshon Jeffries at one point was one of the better number 2 receivers in the NFL draft when he got drafted. Up until now, he got the more in a possession receiver. So this guy, Shenault, he's 6'1", 227 pounds. He's the heaviest receiver out of all the guys that I'm gonna mention to you guys at the very moment. He's a wide body receiver, which means that he has the ability to shut off defensive backs or linebackers after the catch. So he could be a nice player for the Eagles in the second round or in the third round, depending on how far he falls. Now this is a guy that the NFL mark have wrong. That's T. Higgins, 6'4", 216 pounds, out of University of Clemson. They got him marked to go in the second round, but a lot of NFL analysts saying that he's more of a first round pick than a second rounder, but he could slide. If he slide in the second round, the Eagles could go after T. Higgins instead of going after KJ Hamler. So I mean, then you have 2 big receivers, CeeDee Lamb, who the Eagles love so much, who they could go up in the top 10 to get him, but do they have the ammunition to get him? That could be the question going forward, because we got more than 10, 12 picks, and I'm quite sure most NFL owners and the people who are going to pick these players already know the Eagles situation and what they need up front, and this will be one of 3. They want CeeDee Lamb, who they love so much, like I said before. I'm not quite sure exactly what draft position that Howie Roseman is going to do, or how he's going to move up to get CeeDee Lamb. But CeeDee Lamb is expected to be gone before the 5th pick in the draft. So that means the Eagles are going to give us some draft capital or trade a couple of players or something to move up in the draft. And there's been rumored that Rasul Douglas and Alshon Jeffries could both be part of that package, which means that they will get rid of Alshon Jeffries' contract, but they won't owe as much back pay or dead money, if you will, because his dead money amount, I think, is $15 million. So if they give him and Rasul Douglas to move up in the draft to get CeeDee Lamb, that's going to lower the dead money account, which could be about $4 or $5 million, which I'm quite sure the Eagles probably don't even mind about that. $4 or $5 million is better than $15 million end of the week. So that could be what their plan is to moving up in the draft to get CeeDee Lamb. And they want to give a much draft capital, because with the second pick, if they still have it, they can go out to either T. Higgins or KJ Hamler, one of those 2 guys who they love. Secondly, after CeeDee Lamb, you know what I'm saying, and do their best in moving up in the draft to get the guy that they want, and they still have their draft capital. They still have their 3rd round, both their 3rd round picks, their 4th round, their 5th, 6th, and 7th round going down. So they won't lose much draft capital, but they will lose less money on Alshon Jeffries' contract, because he has 2 years left on that 4-year deal he signed 3 years ago. So it's so much that could be happen in the draft because, like I said, it's a virtual reality. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm quite sure they're going to broadcast everything on the thing going forward. A lot could be broadcast, so a lot of things could happen between now and the draft because there's players that teams like, so they have to give up certain position to move up to get their guy. That's one reason why I like the NFL draft because you never know what's going to happen. And last but not least, on the wide receiver position, there's Devin Duvernay. Devin Duvernay. He's who's 5'11", 200 pounds at University of Texas, who predicted to go to the second or the third round. So that guy I don't know much about because I never really concentrate on watching him play. But the other guys I mentioned to you guys, I remember or I have seen them play this past season that they just ended. And so that's nothing. So wide receiver position taken care of. Now we're going to the centers. Now this is a mainly important position because we all know that Kelce is not going to play much longer because he's been in the league now 12 years. And he has a Super Bowl championship ring, and he's a future Hall of Fame center because he only missed only 1 or 2 games in his career and played a whole lot of them. You know what I'm saying? He had the most starts of any center in Eagles history. So those numbers along with the Super Bowl ring could put him in the Hall of Fame. He's a future Hall of Fame center, and I'm quite sure he's going to retire as an Eagle if the Eagles don't let him go after next year. Because like I said, we need a new center because he's been contemplating retirement for a long period of time. We are now 21 minutes into the video. Like I said before, it's going to be a long video. So hope you guys can bear with me and listen to what I got to say. And hope you understand where I'm going coming from for a position and players, size, and school they're from, and their draft position. This guy named Caesar Rooks, who is 6'3", 307 pounds out of Michigan. He's predicted to be a late first, early second round. Now this guy is 6'3". Jason Kelce is 6'3", but he ain't 307. He not 307 pounds. See, for what Jason Kelce lack in weight, this guy has the weight to take on bigger defensive tackles, nose tackles, and he has the initial quickness to break on linebackers if need be, if they're going with the run game. So the Eagles could go and get Rooks with the second overall pick, or if Rooks lasts long enough, they can get him in the third round. Like I said, they got 2 third-round picks, so that's a possibility there to be a third rounder. So I don't expect Rooks to be an early second, a late first, early second round. I expect him to be a late second, early third round. Eagles got 2 third-round picks, so they could get him the third if he ain't gone by the second round. And then got one guy named Matt Hennessy, who is 6'4". Now this guy is big. He's 6'4", 307 pounds. Now he's the same height and same weight as Rooks, and he's from Temple. And he predicted to go early second, late third. So the Eagles have their options of either Rooks or Hennessy. If it was me, I would go with Hennessy because Hennessy is taller. And the Eagles haven't had a tall center since Jamar Jackson, I think, who was 6'4", about 300 pounds, or over 200 pounds. And he played on a few years with the Eagles, and he was by far most the best center that the Eagles have ever had since Steve Everett, a la Jason Kelce. And late second, early third is not bad for Matt Hennessy. So the Eagles could go with either one of those two and be happy at fourth center. Because like I said, to me, we need a bigger center. Jason Kelce is on the 6'3". We need a taller center that can take on bigger defensive tackles, the bigger defensive ends coming on stomp routes, linebackers coming on stunts, and safeties coming on stunts. So we need all of this to build a better offensive line in the near future. And Matt Hennessy can probably, one of these two guys can probably sit behind Kelce for one more year or 2 more years and become the new franchise center for the Eagles moving forward. And then we have the top three, like I mentioned to you guys. This is Nick Harris, who is 6'1", 302 pounds, from University of Washington, who predicted to be a late third, early fourth round. Nick Harris, 6'1". Now that's a problem for me, because when you're 6'1", when you're taking on defensive tackles that's 6'3" or 6'4" or 5 defensive tackles coming up the gut, them guys can maul you over to disrupt the plays to get to the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So Nick Harris will be an X for me because he's too short. He's 2 inches shorter than Kelce, who's 6'3". You know what I'm saying? Kelce gets by because he's an athlete. That gives him the initial putting to run and push tackles out the way for the run game, or push tackles out the way for the passing game. So, but Nick Harris is not that type of center. If anything, he might want to be on special teams, or he might want to be groomed for the next 3 or 4 years to play the position of center, because he's too small for me. And then University of Washington don't have a good track record of draftees. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I'm looking at there. They don't have a good they don't have a good draft choice of draftees coming out of the University of Washington. And them are your top 3 centers that I got written down and marked ready for you guys to understand. And now we're going to the edge rushers on defense, and it's on the top 4. A couple of these guys you guys know of, and probably the other 2 you probably don't know. But the first one on everybody's list is Chase Young, 6'5", 264, from the University of Ohio State. Let me get that correct. Ohio State. He's a guaranteed first round pick, and he's expected to go to the Washington Redskins because the Washington Redskins own the number 2 pick overall. But from what I've been told, they're entertaining the number 2 overall pick, which means they can move down and get more picks if need be. But I don't think no team's going to fall for that, because that's too high of a draft capital. Everybody know when you want to move up in the top 10, there are things you have to give up to move up into those top 10. It's going to be costly. We all know that. And the Eagles are not going to move up in the top 5 at no means, because they got to give up their second round pick and probably some picks of next year to get that high. And the Eagles are not going to do that. And I know they're not going to do that. I know they're not, because it's not their character. It got to be somebody really desperate that they need to move up in the top 5 to get the player that they need. But then again, you never know. It depends on what Howie Roseman's going to do and what he got up his sleeve to go forward to move up that high in the draft. Then we got AJ Epenesa. AJ Epenesa, who is also 6'5", 275 pounds out of Iowa. He's a first round talent, no question about it. This guy I've seen perform on the field. He is a very disruptive defensive end. He can play inside and outside. So he's tough. He's a tough matchup for any offensive player that's going to be coming out or already in the league as we currently have. Then we got K'Lavon Chaisson, who is 6'3", 254 pounds out of LSU, who's also a first round talent. I think guy performed this year, and he's very disruptive defensive end, very disruptive. I don't think he played inside much, but he probably could be trained to play inside, because like I said before, he's 6'3", and he's the same size as Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham 6'3", the guy's 6'3", and Brandon Graham weight the same much too, about 254 pounds, 250 pounds, 55 pounds, someone long up in there. So he's a first round talent, Chaisson. And then last but not least, the last and final top 4 is Terrell Lewis, 6'5", 254 pounds, who is the same size and height as Chase Young. And he's a first or a second round pick, depending on how far he falls. Now, this guy, Alabama, is who he played for, who he was playing for. He's a very good defensive end as well. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see him play much, but he's very good from what I see on tape. And then now we're going to the linebackers, my favorite position. And these are one of the positions that the Eagles need to take care of between the second and third round, or one of their third round picks. Kenneth Murray, who is 6'2", 241 pounds, University of Oklahoma. He is a first round talent, no doubt about it. This guy is a safety converted to linebacker, so that gives him the spread formation to play either linebacker or safety, because if he play one of the two, you're never gonna know which position that he is. He could be a safety or he could be a linebacker. Now, if he be a linebacker and he out wide playing safety, you never know if he's a linebacker that's rush up the gut to get on to stop the run or to get to the quarterback, or you never know if he will come off the edges to get to the running game or quarterback. So you never know this guy is. Kenneth Murray can be a matchup nightmare for opposing offensive coordinators who got to come up with game plans to stop a guy with that much speed. And he's the same size as the guy we just recently let go, number 53, who's now gone for the Eagles. I can't think of his name off the bat, but you guys know who he is. He's gone, and the Eagles could be looking at him with the 21st pick. So if all the receivers that the Eagles want, which would be Judy, Ruggs, CeeDee Lamb, or Higgins, whoever, or Hamler, and one of those top 5 guys are gone before they get to our receiver, they could go after Kenneth Murray with the 21st overall pick. Because we do need linebacker help, and that can't be stressed enough. When you let 2 linebackers go, now we're actually 3. We had the boy from University of Texas who signed with the Cardinals, and then we had another linebacker, number 95 himself. We let him go, and the Eagles haven't been the same since he left. You know what I'm saying? But this guy's now a free agent, who I'm talking about, who's over 30 years old to be exact. So the Eagles will not be bringing him back. But you guys know who they are. The number 2 linebacker the Eagles have had, they let go via free agency, and one guy that they released because of his troubled history with the law. So that's why they let him go, number 95 himself. So we need help at linebacker, no question about it. We solidified on the outside, and on the weak side and strong side, we strong there. We just need one guy to play the middle position. We need one guy to play the middle. Once we get the middle solidified, we'll be good. And then there's Patrick Queen, 6 feet, 229 pounds from LSU. He's a first round or second round talent, depends on where he